Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Do It with Daisy. Make sure everyone can see us. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Do It with Daisy. Today, we are going to be showing you how to make cauliflower pizza using only dog-safe ingredients, but international or maybe national. Wildlife Day is coming up, and I thought that it would be a really great opportunity to talk about best practices when interacting with wildlife. So let's go ahead and we'll get our pizza crust going, and then we'll dig right in. First thing, we want to make sure we've got like equal-ish parts cauliflower that has been steamed and drained, and almond flour. That was the word I was looking for, is almond flour. You also want to put some Parmesan cheese in there, probably about half as much of the almond flour as you added. And then we want to make it nice and seasoned. We're going to put some basil in there. You want to try? Yeah, you just like the smells, huh? And some ginger. Garlic is very dangerous for dogs. It actually kills their blood cells, so we are not going to be adding any garlic. But I have found that when I replace the garlic in my recipes with ginger, it adds like this little aromatic touch that is very reminiscent of the garlicky vibes without the garlicky flavor. Not to say I don't enjoy a garlicky flavor, but not when I'm cooking with my dog. That's dangerous. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and add some egg white. You can also use whole eggs. I just happen to have more egg white on hand than whole eggs at the moment, and this makes it a little bit lighter. Like, it's not quite as heavy on your tummy when you use egg white instead of whole eggs. And I believe that the last time that we showed you how to make this recipe, I used whole eggs. So I figured let's go ahead and mix it up a little bit. All right. I know, right? She's like, excuse me, that is for me. Don't even try to pretend. All right. So now this is like holding together pretty well. So we're going to go ahead and fill our pan with that. A lot of times I will just use a plate and I'll make like multiple pizzas. But today I really just want to make one big one. So we're going to use a pie pan. All right, just press that in there. And then once this is flattened to the shape that you want it to be, you're just gonna put it in the microwave for like 5 minutes. If it's fully stiff, then it's ready to be topped off with whatever you're gonna top it off with. A lot of times I will do a red pepper sauce because red peppers are safe for dogs. Bell peppers to be clear. We're not talking about like chili peppers here. That would light their digestive system on fire. So I didn't make red pepper sauce this time though. I think we're just going to make it kind of like flatbread style with a bunch of cheese and all that good stuff. All right. So now this is ready to go in the microwave. I'm going to put this in the microwave for 5 minutes and we can start chopping our vegetables. Waffles, that is not safe. Lay down. What did I say? Lay your butt down right here. Hey, honey, I need your paws here. Down. There we go. Good girl. I know you're just trying to get that. All right, so now we want to chop up some vegetables here. I thought I grabbed broccoli too, but I did not, so that's okay. So a lot of times I do like mushrooms on my pizza. However, if you're not a mushroom fan, but you still want like all of the textures that you get on a typical pizza, zucchini is an incredible substitution. And since I don't always have mushrooms on hand, it makes it pretty easy to substitute for that reason as well. So I'm going to go ahead and chop this zucchini up. Waffles loves zucchini. Loves it. And then I'm also going to chop some carrot. We want these carrot slices to be really, really thin because when they're in the oven, they're not going to be in water. They're not going to be getting hydrated. So you want them to be able to cook quickly and not take a million years to cook. So the wider you make them, make sure you get them nice and thin. If you struggle to slice them thin, then go ahead and cut your carrot in half and get them diced instead. Now, when it comes to interacting, hi everyone, it's so good to see our new viewers. Now, when it comes to interacting with wildlife, I really thought about this, about the proportions of how often I personally interact with wildlife versus how often I don't. And after a lot of consideration, I have come up with the number 99.9%. 99.9% of the time, you are not going to be interacting with wildlife. It is not beneficial for either the wild species or the domesticated species. No one benefits from that. Either you're putting yourself in danger, you're exposing yourself to parasites and illnesses that you would not otherwise be exposed to, or you're putting the animal at danger by exposing them to parasites and illnesses that they wouldn't be exposed to, as well as altering their natural behaviors and their natural environment, which a wild animal's whole life and survival revolves around their natural environment and what they can expect in that environment. So when you, good girl, stay, I'm getting a delivery. So I have a feeling she's going to bark. Oh, she didn't. Cool. So when you insert yourself into that environment, the animal now has to come up with like a plan B, essentially, as to what its behavior would be. And then when you take yourself out of that environment, we now have an animal who doesn't know how to behave in its original environment, in its natural habitat, without altering its behavior. And that's not good for its survival or its mental wellness. So 99.9% of the time, you are not going to be interacting with wildlife. However, there are some exceptions. And any exception where it is beneficial for both species to interact with wildlife, it's always going to be a situation where the wildlife comes to you in a seeking help kind of fashion. So a great example of this would be honeybees. Oftentimes people find honeybees on their, excuse me, I need to take a drink of my water. Oftentimes people find honeybees on their porch or on their railing, tired and unable to continue moving on with their day, unable to fly. And I just have one request for you. Getting so passionate that I'm choking over my words. Okay, my sole request for you, please do not give the honeybees sugar water. These are not hummingbirds. They're not eating the nectar. They're bringing pollen home to their hives and creating honey out of it. So if you want to help a tired honeybee, give them their natural food source and do not touch them, your little oily fingers, because as humans have lots of oils all over our skin to protect us. Other animals have thick fur. We do not have thick fur. You know, some of us are hairier than others. I'm a hairy bitch. Don't know if I should have said that live on YouTube, but whatever. But yes, good girl. But we're not covered in thick fur that protects our skin from the elements and from contaminants and from germs and all that stuff. We're not built that way. Instead, we have oils. We have oils that repel those things, that create a protective layer, that nourish our skin and keep it from drying out. All of the functions that fur serves on our thicker furred mammalian friends, that's what the oil does on our skin, as well as the thin layer of hair that we have. But it takes both of them to be able to protect us. So when we go and touch another animal, we have to be very conscientious of how our anatomy affects theirs. We have domesticated animals that have evolved alongside us, and it's beneficial for us to touch them. It's not going to harm them in any way. But when you talk about fish and birds and insects. Those are things that can be really detrimental to be touching those animals all the time. And the more wild the animal, the more detrimental even a single touch is. So we don't want to be rubbing off any of the honeybee's protective qualities with our oily fingers. So don't touch the honeybee. Oh, I should have downloaded a video. I have a video that is actually that's actually a part of my World Wildlife video on OFTV from last year. So definitely check out my OFTV channel if you want a peek at what I'm about to describe. But oh, our crust, stay. Oh yes. See how that all got puffed up? Okay. I'm going to leave it in here because this is an oven safe dish. So we're just going to leave it there. So when you are helping a honeybee, you want to put a little bit of honey on a spoon or a butter knife, something that you can place in front of the honeybee while still giving them a chance to escape if that's not what they want, if you misunderstood, if like whatever reason, they could also be landing because they're injured or something else. You never want to like make an animal feel trapped, especially a wild animal. Hi, Jaguar. It's so good to see you here. Thank you for your comment. So instead of putting the honey down on the object that the honeybee landed on, thanks for stealing my carrot, where it then becomes an obstacle for the honeybee, just put it on some kind of Waffles, honey, stop stealing my shit. I will give you treats, I promise. Put it on some kind of servingware that you can, when you notice the honeybee trying to take a break or whatever, you can give them a break, and you can hold it nice and steady as they approach or reapproach the honey. But this is just a really great example of how even on the rare occasion that it is beneficial for both species to interact when we're talking about wildlife and domesticated people, there's still a lot of consideration that needs to go into it. So before you ever consider helping a wild animal, make sure that even if it's just a little Google search real quick, to make sure that you're not causing harm in that moment, make sure you do that. A lot of times, depending on the species, your Google search will come up with, don't approach them, call a wildlife rehabilitator in your area. And that's really easy to do too, especially when you've already got your phone out. So just kind of keep those things in mind, how when we talk about not approaching wildlife, it's not just for your benefit. It is actually mostly for the animal's benefit. Does anyone have any questions about approaching wildlife, or if you need some more insight on how to make our cauliflower pizza, then I'm definitely happy to answer those questions as well. Are there any questions so far, guys? Oh, I need to preheat the oven. Okay, I'm going to let the chat catch up a little bit while I preheat the oven. Waffles, leave it. Good girl. I will chop more zucchini, but you have to be good. Thank you so much for your comments and likes, everyone. This is going to be my last live stream on this channel. I've noticed that I've had a hard time keeping up on top of all of the other content that I create for you guys here on OnlyFans, here on YouTube, and across my social media platforms. And I'm shifting into yoga as my main subject of content. So I will continue doing my weekly live streams on Follow the Dogie. So those will still be free to view and access live. But in order to be able to make sure that I can provide you with everything that I know that I can, I want to make sure that I'm creating an incredible experience for my fans. And in order to do that, I need to make sure that I take a little bit off my plate and focus on the things that I know that I can really help you guys with and that I'm passionate about. And I definitely recommend others do that as well. So this will be the last live stream on Do It With Daisy. Make sure that you are also following me on YouTube on Follow the Dogie to watch those classes for free. You can also view them on my Follow the Dogie OnlyFans, where you can reach out to me and send me messages for one-on-one support. We've got our oven preheating. And I am still keeping an eye on the chat. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them in there. Thank you so much for those likes, guys. Oh, I appreciate all of the interaction and all of your support. And I am so excited to be able to really dive back into focusing on all of the fan interactions. Preparing for 2 classes a week did get to be a little bit difficult to manage, to say the least. So I'm excited to be able to reshift my focus back to that connection that we can share between creator and fan. All right, this is ready to go in the oven. So I'm going to pop this in the oven and I will be right back. All right, let me give Waffles a bite of zucchini. Then I'm going to put the rest of this in the fridge because she doesn't need any more. Oh my goodness, that's not ready. It's not ready. Come back here. I forgot to put my protein on here because I wanted turkey. Okay. Go ahead and finish this turkey off. All right, we're going to go ahead and put some turkey on here. Get my amino acids in my belly. And then we'll put a little more cheese on top just to sandwich everything together. Because I forgot to put the turkey on before I added the last layer of cheese. And if you guys have any questions, any final questions, now is the time to drop them. All right, there we go. Oh, I still have a couple of these guys. Hang on. Oh, I have one of these guys. All right, now this is gonna go in the oven. All right, thank you guys so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed this class. If you did, please make sure that you like this post, share it with a friend. Make sure you're subscribed to me because I do have so much more fun content to share with you. And I am so excited to share more of my OFTB videos and more symbiotic living tips. And yeah, I'm so excited for everything that I'm going to be able to offer you now that I've got a little bit more free time as far as planning goes. Thank you guys. I will see you guys next week on Follow the Dogie for a new animal assisted yoga class. Thank you. Okay, how do I exit this?